Hello and welcome to Music Chart. Today we are going to be unboxing Mekaal Hasan Band's Sampooran, which we have recently received in the mail. Here is hopefully what will be Sampooran. Actually जो सबसे funny बात है Sampooran के बारे में, अब तो मेरी ज़िंदगी में अब तो मेरी ज़िंदगी में बस Sampooran ही है. I missed it. I had missed Sampooran, and it wasn't till maybe 4 years ago that I began to sort of began to understand what this album really contained and what it really meant. That's not including my relationship with music videos from the Mekaal Hasan Band, including Sajan, Varis Shah. Joke Ranjan used to be one of my favorites. Aur tab wo, it was that perfect era of Indus music and of I Am on the Fringe, and it's actually shot by that same crew, by Zishan Pervez at Digital Fidelity Studios, and it has this sort of very characteristic sort of a vibe where people are chilling in the studio, but a band is about to perform Joke Ranjan, and we talk about, Mekaal and I talked about this in the interview as well, is who knows, maybe that is the take that becomes what's on Sab Tak. And then Zishan Pervez also directed this really beautiful animated video for Varis Shah, which I also remember, and the Rabba video, very iconic. So never actually had a chance to purchase or consume Sampooran in physical form. Okay, first look. So it is actually Sampooran. You see it? I also wanted to talk about the fact that I think the Sampooran CD also is now a collectible. तो क्योंकि आपने इंटरव्यू देखा है तो आपको इस बात का अंदाज़ा होगा कि जब मिकाल के स्टूडियो को आग लगी है तो everything was lost. और अब people aren't really publishing CDs in Pakistan. So and I actually had really, I think, given up hope that I would ever find Sampooran on CD. So I think what I was trying to say was that it's a bit of a collector's item because, published in, probably printed somewhere in Karachi. Yeah, so it says Sadaf Stereo F44 to 45 Rainbow Center Karachi. Or actually, we on the sidelines of the Mekaal interview, this is Sampooran in all its glory. Colors are a little washed out because, of course, it is aged so much by now, but otherwise, very, very nice copy of Sampooran. Yes, so on the sidelines of the Mekaal Hasan interview recently, we also we were having a funny conversation about the fact कि तो बीच में ये भी हुआ था कि Mekaal Hasan Band का जो सारा डिस्क लाइब्रेरी थी, apart from the 2 Coke Studio songs, was not on Spotify. It came back on Spotify and published by Sadaf Stereo, which is responsible for publishing the CD. And so the funny thing that they've done is कि जो Sampooran का पहला गाना है सजन, one of my favorites, उसका नाम सजन के बजाय उन्होंने साजन रख दिया है. So really excited to open this up. I think what I would love to see is maybe like a jacket inside with maybe some just some storytelling about the band and who these guys are, because this is the Mekaal Hasan Band's debut album, and so to walk you through what I see here, I think I see Javed Akhtar to the extreme left. We have Mr. Mohammad Ehsan Pappu on the flute. We have Mr. Riaz Ali Khan साहब यहाँ सामने बैठे हैं बिल्कुल. And this is the open air Alhambra Theatre right next to Qazafi Stadium. And we have Mekaal Hasan right in front of us playing the guitar. And we have Sameer on bass. So I've never been able to figure out who this actually is playing on the show. But of course, on the album itself, you have Pete Lockett on tracks 5 to 8, and then you have Gumby on tracks 1 to 4. Please leave in the comments if you know who this person on the extreme right is. So opening this up, and yes, indeed, really detailed, really detailed one lyrics written completely, and just very aesthetically pleasing. There's this really beautiful grayscale and red theme here, which I really wanted to talk to Mekaal about. I think I really wanted to talk about why this is not more colorful, because this is not just an album that has a Varis Shah or a Sanval. It also has a Rabba, and it also has a Yali, and it also has a Sajan, which is infinitely beautiful. So I think my personal sense over here is that I think it's a sort of it's a farewell to Riaz Ali Khan Saab of sorts. We created this really beautiful thing, but we weren't able to sort of work on it together or do anything with it, which is also one of the other reasons why I'm very interested in the Mekaal Hasan band, was because अगर आप रियाज साहब के साथ जो इनका काम है वो सुने, that work just has a very different quality, and I think one of the motivations behind starting Music Chat and also of sort of the urgency of this is also that even though I saw this in front of me, like I saw the Pepsi Battle of the Bands in like grainy television footage, but I hadn't really ever realized that जो Mekaal Hasan band ने Battle of the Bands में सानू इकबाल का cover किया था, that also had a studio version, and that studio version is absolutely divine. So who's really thinking about how that is preserved, and where that exists? Is it publicly available? Is it something that we consider sort of a cultural artifact? So I think I'm really proud to be holding this beautiful album right now. I think this is a very this is a very historic moment. So we'll continue to read the jacket now. So he says, and this is completely new to me, by the way. This is not photographed on Discogs or anywhere. So I'm actually reading this for the first time. आपको ये वाले front और back के images तो मिल जाते हैं, but you don't really get sort of what's inside. So we'll read this with you. Most of my life, I have been fascinated by artists who forgo an unmistakable stamp that is all their own without forsaking their heritage and influences. My exposure to jazz and rock from an early age, right up to my time at the Berklee College of Music in Boston, made it natural for me to incorporate rock and jazz influences in my playing and writing. What I love about jazz and its offshoots, that is jazz rock and the 70s fusion movement heralded in and championed by bands like Weather Report, was the color of the harmony, the rich textures in the arrangements, and the interaction among the players where the music is shaped by each person's personality, skill, interpretation, and ingenuity. With my love for the harmony of jazz and my exposure over the last few years to Eastern classical music, I gradually started to realize the immense and stunning melodic beauty of our own traditional Eastern classical music. With this in mind, the Mekaal Hasan band was formed not simply as a fusion band, but as a band which can work with fine musicians from various cultures who are interested in communication and creating something that builds upon tradition, but is still fresh to the ears and senses. As I learned more about writing for the various people involved, there are 7 people in all that I wrote for in this album, I realized that the traditional material I was writing around was a treasure not just for my generation, but for music lovers all over. Some of the tunes on this record have been associated with prominent classical artists, Ya Ali with Salamat Ali Khan, the Tarana in Raag Darbari, Yare Man Beya with Ustad Amir Khan Indore Wale. Others feature the kafis of our Sufi poets Rabba and Sajan are kafis written by Shah Hussain, and still more tunes like Varis Shah are based on written extracts from writers such as Amrita Pritam. Joining this traditional lyrical and melodic content are those arrangements which I believe provide the emotive backdrop for the artists on this record to work their magic on. It is my sincere hope and wish that more people will go back and hear the traditional works we have reinterpreted here in this record, and along the way will perhaps delve into one of the most vital traditional musics of this century, jazz and its many wonderful and varied offshoots. Musicians wala part I was able to get on um, Bandcamp as well. But so one of the other things that I really wanted to talk about, especially in the context of holding a physical disc, and also, and not to romanticize this, I think this is infinitely more wasteful than, I guess, streaming a song online. And but one of the things that I specifically one of the things that I specifically talk about one of the things that I specifically want to talk about was कि आप you have this format, you have a CD jacket, like a thingy, and then एक उसका बैक पे फोल्ड है, और ये एक अफोर्डेंस है कि एक बुकलेट टाइप चीज़ हो सकती है. एंड because it's a printed piece of paper, you have control over what you say and you have control over your story. Compare this to an artist producing music today. It's very very hard to know who to credit. मतलब फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे क्रेडिट दिया हुआ है photography by Faisal Farooqi, calligraphic logos by Laila Rahman, layouts by Ahmed Salman Ansari at Publicis Pakistan Lahore, design coordination by Mona Leah Player, mix assistant Hasil Qureshi, and there's also credits. Actually, I never saw this. This album is dedicated to my parents Masood and Ira Hasan for their unconditional support and love which made this record possible, and who helped and believed in me every step of the way. I am truly indebted. And then finally we are going to read out these credits, which also I don't think I've ever read before. Thanks also to the following friends and associates who have been involved with this record and band one way or another: Pete Lockett, Gumby, Pappu, Mike Mondesser, Javed Bashir and Sameer Ahmed for lending their vibe, talent and spirit to this record. Khalid Sadaf at Sadaf Studio for his support for the music. Sohail Javed for his generous help and encouragement. Farhan Maqsood aka The Beach for making our band forum and for running it as smooth as it does. Mr. Mekaal, my little brother Faraz Hasan, who has endured many years of tremendously mind-numbing and soul-deadening scale and arpeggio practice. Zoe Rahman, Hamza Ali Jafri aka Zoid, Zahidur Rahman, Danny Ansel, Dr. Usman and Robin for their gift of friendship. Zeb Hania, Ali Rahim and Jamie for their affection, love and rock-solid belief in the power of music. Lubna Jahangir for her advice and support. Mona Leah Player for her support and help way beyond the call of duty. Shoaib Mansoor for his suggestions for the album title. Mohammad Qayyum for his invaluable legal advice and help. Nafiz Bhai at TV2 for his help with our video. Laila Rahman for her creativity with the cover and layouts and for being so generous with her time. Fahad Khan aka Pod, Salman Homo Albert, Hasil Plug the ardent fan, Fahim Chitta aka 5050 and Bilal Hamid for their help on the interactive CD. Ibrahim Khan aka Butt for his enthusiasm. Hasan Patando, Ifu Golden, Nasir Tikka for his guidance, Sammy the Snake, Sara Shahid for her support, Mariam Rahman, Sikandar Mufti for his generous help with the drum kit, Dr. Zirak Zeenat Samuel, Khurram Bhai aka Jila Watan, Ahmed Ali Bhatt for his installments of what? EP, and in particular Zulfi for his generous help with my computer problems, Ali Noor, Muhammad Ali Jafri aka Baji Salman, Ahmed Ali Azmat and Brian O'Connell of Junoon for their staunch support, Saif and Sameer Paneer Ahmed for their support, enthusiasm and hanging out sessions, Mateen Call for his generosity and help, Nomi Mental, and finally the slaves, Slave A Gullu, Slave B. This is really not correct. And finally the slaves, Slave A Gullu, Slave B Akmal and Slave C Shiva. Without them the studio would not be the same. So yes, so this was Sampooran unboxing. काश मैं आपको ये इस वक्त सीडी में डाल के सुना भी सकता, पर वो सहूलत हमारे पास मुयसर नहीं है. तो और ये मैंने इसमें उल्टा लगा दिया है. तो ये भी आप कर सकते हैं. आज आप स्पॉटिफाई के साथ ये नहीं कर सकते, आप अपने स्पॉटिफाई को स्लो नहीं कर सकते, उसका पिच नहीं चेंज कर सकते. आई गॉट इट रॉन्ग अगेन. तो एनीवे, Yes, so this was Sampooran. Thank you so much for joining me and for sharing Sampooran with me. Please go watch my full interview with Mekaal Hasan live now on YouTube, and hope to see you again soon.